I'm the product support manager. You have issues with Q-PAC or you need help with troubleshooting, you call us. Me and my team will be there to assist you over the phone. Installation is pretty simple. As long as you use the documentation that we give you, we provide everything step by step. It usually goes from anywhere from installing the perimeter angle to each panel. We walk you through it step by step. As long as you're using this documentation, you can't go wrong. I think the hardest part of the retrofit for me is the demo. The demo takes the longest amount of time. It's the most, most exerting part of the retrofit. So ripping out the old stuff, the shaft, the housing, the inertia base, or what have you, depending on the size of the unit. But once you get all that out, cleaned up, whatever you guys got to do the inside of the unit, put in the Q-PAC's pretty simple. As long as you got a nice firm perimeter to put the angle, to make sure it's not rusted and or corroded, because you want it to be a good solid, attachment to the unit itself. So once you rip everything out, you install a perimeter angle, and then the user guide tells you panel by panel, but you also have your layouts and documentation that everybody gives you, or that we give you for your specific unit. However many panels, however many motors. We tell you exactly where the motors go. We tell you exactly the way the wires run, and everything, like I said, step by step. So here's a photo of installation guide for the newer version that we have. We are about to release, but I like the illustration better, that we've upgraded and made it a little bit more clear. So I'll tell you where the quick connect box goes, your panels, how they line up, wiring, everything. Tells you how to cinch it, trim your zip ties, and things of that nature. Here is a wiring diagram. All of these wiring diagrams for the older versions, newer versions, they're all an SOP. There's no specific for any different type of array. The only thing that will change is the amperage on your panel, depending on how many motors or the model motor you have. So these diagrams inside for the low voltage are always going to be the same. For the high voltage, they're always going to be the same. The only thing that will change is the amps, because of the amount of fans that you have, whether it be one, whether it be 40 or 50 motors, depending on what you have. But the wiring is always going to be the same. It is a SOP. It is not a schematic. It is not unit specific, because it is, like I said, it's an SOP. It's a diagram. And here you have the QCB. When you're installing this, it's pretty simple. It tells you where to go from the control panel to the quick connect box. This gets miscommunicated or just misunderstood. I don't know if it's a thing with our diagrams or if it's just some people don't use them. But it's very self-explanatory. All the terminals are the same on both ends. All you have to do is line them up, terminal for terminal, A1, common, 24, COK, however it's lined up. You will have more than one QCB at times. If you do, you are not to daisy chain them. They have to be ran separate conduit from terminal block 8, 9, 10, or 11 to QCB or A, B, C, or D. I've had instances where people will daisy chain from A to B, thinking that that's okay, but then you'll get a ton of alarms. You'll call us, we'll help you fix it, we'll talk you through it. If you ever have questions during installation, you can call us, not a problem. During the hours of 8 and 5 Eastern time, we'll be there. We'll answer all your questions, whatever you guys have. Something else I wanted to show you. So here's a diagram of our quick connect box and the wiring for the motors. You have your bus bar, and this distributes the main power to each motor. So once that safety is made in the main control panel using the DI1 safety circuit, which I'll show you here shortly, your motors are going to have power. This does not you need the low voltage to help them run. So if the safety is not made, you will never get power to the motors. So I get a call a lot about, I don't have power to the motors, I can't get it to run. They don't land that safety circuit, that DI1 to 24 volts. So that's what engages your M1 contactor, and then that releases the power to your motors.
That's in either hand or.
That's
they have to have it for either mode.
They have to have it for either mode. So you need that for hand or auto, but you can run the unit still in hand without a start stop, which is just for auto mode. So this will work for hand as long as you have that safety made, you have power to the motors, and you can control it with the potentiometer. So that's just to get you running, get you airflow, and because controls usually is not ready or you just want to get air moving. See, okay, so this is a basic. Basic has a little bit less to wire up because you're not getting a lot of information back and forth with the unit. You don't have HMI screen, you don't have PLC software. So basically it's power to the motors, your safety circuit, and you can run this in auto as long as you have a speed signal to TB1. NO1 and NO2 will be your alarm status, and this will just send you feedback. If you get a motor and alarm, it will open and you'll have an alarm. It won't shut the unit off, but you will get that signal saying that there is an alarm in the unit. So A1 and COM is all you need for a basic just to get the motors running. If you want a status, you get NO1 and NO2. And these are also available to add a pressure transducer for to get a CFM reading, but that's more for a premium style unit. But the terminals are there. So if you ever wanted to upgrade to premium, you'd have, you know, what you need there. We always put it in the quick connect box, basic or not. You'll probably call, be like, I got the tubing, but I don't have the pressure transducer. That's just because it's there, because if you're ready for an upgrade, we can provide that upgrade. And okay, so alarms. These are your basic alarms. You have safety circuit. It tells you exactly what it is. You'll call, be like, I got a 1000 alarm safety circuit. That means your 24 volts to DI1 has been broken. It's open, your safety's tripped, or possibly a fuse blown. We'd help you troubleshoot that if you could not figure out that your safety was, if your safety is closed, but you're still not getting that safety circuit to close. So you have all these different alarms. 2000s integrated alarms, there's a lot here, but they're very simple to understand. Once you understand that your integrator or your quick connect box, those are one and the same. These are just different quick connect boxes that if you had multiple fans in your system. So if you get an integrator A alarm, that means that box that has all these motors connected to it, integrator A, QCB A, has an alarm. That means there's a fan down or a motor down, or it's not getting the feedback that it needs to get. So that will trigger one of these integrator A alarms. Integrator quick connect PCB alarm is the board inside the quick connect box, and that would be take a little bit probably more intimate troubleshooting to figure out what's going on with that, whether it be you're not getting a CFM reading, you're not getting feedback from the fans, or it's not outputting the signals that it needs to output. All these can be found in your manuals. If you ever have an alarm and you're not understanding what it is, go to your manual, it'll explain a little bit better, and then you can go through and you can get the troubleshooting information or troubleshooting guides or process on how to troubleshoot these alarms in our support portal. They're all available to you, or you can call us and we can send them to you. Okay, this is the quick start wiring guide for a premium unit, FS1, V2. You have a little bit more here because you're getting a little bit more data back, because you want to be able to talk to the Q-PAC a little bit more than just the basic. So all the same features as far as safety, start, stop, those are all the same, but you also get relay outputs for running, not running, ready or not ready. There's other ways to talk to it, or you can go through BACnet. With the PLC, you can utilize BACnet and talk to it a little bit more, get a little bit more information if you wanted to do it that way, or you can just get open and closed through these relays. A little bit more wiring on the quick connect box, but it's all the same. As long as you line it up terminal for terminal, you shouldn't have any issues. I like to recommend to customers or anyone not, installing Q-PAC for the first time, to use 18 gauge, 8 wire, shielded, to help with any interference that you may incur in the future or at any time. But that's the basic wiring instructions. Are pretty simple, but like I said, if you ever need help, you can call our support team and we can help you to install or to talk you through installing the Q-PAC. So I have a couple videos that I took in Miami and I wanted to share with you guys. You saw in the videos that were shown earlier how easy a Q-PAC can go in. Once you pull the guts out of the unit, the shaft is gone, the housing is gone, the base is gone, whether it be springed or inertia. But as soon as you get that out, you got a nice clean surface all the way around the unit. You install your perimeter angle, and then the rest, I like to say, just goes in just like butter. You just one panel, second panel, third panel, you want to go in order. The diagram lays it out for you nice and easy, and makes it very simple to install. But let's see.
You see contractors have to like notch or cut slightly, like
so
because like
yeah,
it's never just a perfect rectangle. So you
yeah,
got, like angles. So that's not uncommon, right?
That's uncommon. It's not uncommon
mods to it.
that the perimeter angle won't fit perfectly. We're not there to help you to decide what to notch out or cut or extend or whatever you have to do. I have been to a few site visits where the perimeter angle would not sit where it needed to sit, so we had to install another flat bar just to extend where the perimeter angle needed to sit. There's hard connections or unions in the unit that you just can't remove and you can't notch out, so you got to notch the bulkhead around it. So there's just times that you're going to have to just think on your feet to get that, because we can't account for every little notch that needs to go into the Q-PAC. But there's always a solution. There's always a solution, and we can always make it work. Any other questions?
Are there any common parts that you would say, other than maybe fuses or something, that doesn't change too much from that we should have on hand?
There's parts that you can have as extras. Motors, for example, they're interchangeable. Obviously, if one goes down, you want to have one handy. Those are good to have on hand, at least one. But we do have our support team, and we get you a motor replacement pretty quickly. As far as parts, those don't fail too often unless there's an electrical issue. We have replaced contactors, but they're never something that will fail just because it's been running for 5-10 years. It's something that just fails because there's an electrical surge or just something shorts in the system. But as far as needing on hand, I don't think that's ever been like a thing where they just keep failing and failing and failing. PCB boards,
Transducers are common across all.
pressure transducers are common. I think it's more with our older version, which is a little green circuit board. It's a MAMIC pressure transducer. The new Dwyer is a little bit more hefty, a little bit more robust. I think it's a little more sturdy than the old one is. So that's what we put in all our newer Q-PACs. So I think they're good to have on hand because they can fail, but it's not often to where you have to have 6 or 7 of them. So
Were you going to say PCB boards?
PCB boards can at times be a little bit more prone to have issues because somebody left the cover off, somebody never put the cover, lost the cover. Those can tend to be a little bit more sensitive when that happens. In the quick connect box. In the quick connect box. Those are good to have like 1 or 2 on hand just in case. But like I said, our support team does a great job of getting you what you need in a timely manner. So there's never a long wait if we diagnose a part has failed or you call us to troubleshoot and we say you need a replacement for this part. You usually get it pretty quickly. So, any other? Yeah, go ahead.
Any comment on startup procedure?
Startup procedure, like I said, everything's in the manual. We have a startup procedure so you can you check make sure the cones aren't rubbing on the impeller. You want to spin them by hand first and make sure that you don't hear any scraping or rubbing. Make sure all your connections are right. Don't force a connection. Connections go in usually pretty smoothly. If you're forcing a connection, it's probably going in the wrong way. So you want to make sure that the connection goes in nice, smooth, and clicks like it's supposed to. Let's see. Make sure you have all your screws in. Make sure every screw hole is filled whenever you install the bulkhead. Make sure your incoming power is right. You want to check legs to ground. Make sure you have all legs to ground before you engage that disconnect and feed it to the Q-PAC. So you want to make sure you have all your legs to ground. As soon as you engage that Q-PAC, you want to make sure that your safety circuit's made so that way that it can engage the M1 contactor and get power to the motors. So you just want to make sure that all your due diligence, whether it be conduit, bulkhead, screws, want to make sure that everything's, you know, set in perfectly. Do you have any more questions?
What's the number one easily solvable problem that you see all the time?
I get a lot of calls about that safety circuit. You know, that people want to just start it up and they can't get it to run, and I think it's just it's overlooked. I don't know if it's losing the paperwork or what have you, but it's just they can't get the unit to run because they don't have power to the motors. I think that's the safety circuit is the biggest thing, but you can only run it in hand at that point. But everything else, as long as you have that quick start wiring guide in your hand and you can read and it's clear as day, you know, you guys can probably get it pretty easily.